When I picked up my Nintendo DS on launch day with Super Mario 64 DS, it came with a demo for Metroid Prime Hunters. Seeing a Metroid Prime game running on the DS was cool, and I couldn't wait till the final game was released. I finally picked the game up a few months after its original March 2006 release date and was intrigued by its gameplay. Unfortunately, I found the gameplay loop repetitive, and the lack of depth compared to other Metroid titles had me lose interest in it well before the end of the journey. Having no friends who owned a DS at the time, and dial-up internet, also meant that Hunter's multiplayer modes gave me little interest. Revisiting the game to do this review has softened my original opinion of the game considerably. Even though I enjoyed it far more this time around, it still falls short of what I expect from a Metroid title. The Galactic Federation has received a telepathic message about an ultimate power residing in the Alembic Cluster. As the Alembic Cluster resides outside of Federation control, Samus Aran is called upon to investigate. Concerned about other entities finding the ultimate power for themselves, the Federation has tasked Samus with the objective of either retrieving it for Federation use or destroying it if it is unobtainable. Samus's investigation unravels many mysteries, and she has to put herself to the test against the pinnacle of Alembic technology and other space hunters who want the ultimate power for themselves. The story of Metroid Prime Hunters shares similarities to both Metroid Prime and Metroid Prime 2, with an asteroid hitting an Alembic planet and unleashing a terrible evil upon the once great civilization. The story is presented with a few cutscenes throughout the journey and in-game lore scans typical of the Prime franchise. The lore scans are littered throughout the game and piece together the series of events that lead to Samus's eventual defeat of the ultimate power well, and I like how they are presented in smaller segments on the smaller DS screen. The addition of other space hunters further adds a unique twist to the game, even if they aren't incredibly fleshed out. Metroid Prime Hunters plays more like a first-person shooter than a first-person adventure established with Metroid Prime 1 and 2. There are two different control schemes players can use, with a right and left-hand variant of each. For players looking for a more traditional gameplay experience, you can use the D-pad or face buttons to move and strafe, with the opposite set of buttons controlling aiming. Your hand preference will dictate which one you use for which. This doesn't provide the most accurate experience, but it is passable. For a more precise aiming option, players can make use of the DS touchscreen to handle aiming. The D-pad or face buttons are then used for moving, depending on the selected hand option. Weapon selection and morph ball form are also handled by the touchscreen. It works rather well, considering, but at times you may get hand cramps if you don't hold your system right. While exploring environments is still an aspect of the Hunter's experience, it takes a more combat-first approach to many encounters, and combat is faster paced in many regards. While you will encounter many normal enemies from previous Metroid games that behave in their traditional fashion, the new Alembic enemies and enemy space hunters are all about getting in your face or maneuvering around the field of battle. The rooms these encounters take place in also frequently resemble an arena multiplayer map. While not necessarily a bad thing, it is a departure from what the franchise had previously established, and the game features severely smaller maps compared to past games as a result. The other space hunters Samus encounters are my highlight of the game's combat loop. Each is unique and offers both a main form and an alternate form to deal with. Sylux in particular is a piece of work when he calls in his ship to help with the fight against you. None are incredibly hard encounters, but they are enjoyable. You will deal with a few of the other hunters more than once throughout your journey. Each of the additional space hunters is also featured in the game's multiplayer mode, so you can experience what it is like to play as them against friends or bots. Outside of the diversity provided by the other 6 space hunters and 2 elementals, enemy and boss encounters get rather repetitive. You will constantly be taking on Alembic guardians that run around like headless chickens as they lay into you with various attacks depending on their type. They can be difficult to kill thanks to their speed and constant movement, but they vanish with a satisfying poof. Enemy spawners will constantly puke out smaller enemies that can overwhelm you with damage if not taken care of. The main bosses, though, are a letdown. There are 2 different bosses, and you will face each 4 times in a playthrough. While they get new abilities with each encounter, it isn't enough to keep them from feeling redundant. The final fight against Goria, the ultimate power, is the most interesting of the bunch. Depending on whether you pay attention to the lore as you play, you could get 2 different endings as a result of this fight. Unfortunately, it is a rather easy fight to overcome, and thanks to the size of the room it takes place in, it can easily be cheesed. Unlocking the true ending of the game presents you with another Goria form and an ultimate weapon to take it down with, which is incredibly pleasing to use. But again, the fight isn't incredibly challenging, and you can get constant health pickups as you take it on. Samus has a streamlined loadout to take on these challenges with her signature beam cannon, missile launcher, morph ball, and bombs. Boost Ball is also available and can be used to evade certain attacks if done properly. Throughout the game, Samus will unlock additional weaponry to diversify her damage output. Most weapons feature an elemental theme, but a new interesting inclusion is a sniper rifle complete with a zoomable scope. Each of these new weapons utilizes a universal ammo system, which thankfully never feels as restrictive to the experience as the one found in Prime 2. Several ammo expansions are found throughout the game, and well before the journey's end, you won't even notice the ammo indicator anymore. Missile and health expansions are also present, but there are fewer in Hunters than in any other Metroid title. Outside of combat, the main gameplay loop of Hunters involves finding numerous keys to unlock more keys that will open a portal to the boss room where you will collect an Octolith upon defeating one of the aforementioned boss forms. Octoliths serve as yet another key that opens the infinite void, and you need 8 to finally fight the ultimate power. So by the time you finish Metroid Prime Hunters, you will collect 56 keys of varying varieties. I don't know who played Prime 1 or 2 and thought key hunts were the greatest thing ever, but here we are. Thankfully, the smaller map size help keep constant key hunts from feeling tedious by comparison to Metroid Prime 2, but they can still provide navigational challenges to keep the Metroid spirit intact. I got stuck a few times through my 7-hour journey of Hunters, but I always managed to figure out what to do before too long. Each of the 4 planets in Hunters provides a unique experience and distinct atmosphere. You explore each planet twice, as paths will be cut off to players on their first visit. Once you come back with the proper weapons to open blocked paths, more of the map becomes explorable. Each visit will have you come away with one of the aforementioned Octoliths. After obtaining an Octolith, players must retreat to Samus' ship before a timer runs out. These segments become tedious rather quickly, as you'll be stopped by space hunters or guardian fights multiple times. They also seem pointless, as once you reach the ship, you could just leave and come back again to continue exploring the planet. These segments also disable the nice mid-path teleporters, which let you quickly get back to your ship to make a save, because you have to suffer the tedium. Yes, 8 Octoliths means 8 escape sequences. The audio work for Metroid Prime Hunters is pleasing to listen to as you play through the game. Sound effects are great, and everything feels like it fits in the environments of play. Ambiance is well achieved with environmental sounds. The occasional voice work for the Alembic psychic transmissions is also haunting. Music is good, and while nothing quite stands out as memorable, it provides the right atmosphere to the experience. The way the music shifts during a space hunter or guardian fight is also superb. Metroid Prime Hunters is an impressive DS title. Despite its smaller world size, the game is a fully 3D first-person experience. The top DS screen has players assuming the role of Samus as if through her helmet, just like other Metroid Prime titles. The bottom screen acts as a radar and weapon selector with nice details. The aesthetic is nice and reminiscent of many early PC shooters, but it feels like Prime at its core. Samus's arm cannon resides on screen and is well detailed, and moves smoothly with input. At times, your view can be disrupted, and the effect is neat to see on the DS. Environments look nice, and each of the game's areas gets a unique aesthetic to keep the game from feeling bland visually. Enemies likewise have a good amount of animations and details. Best of all, the game runs smoothly throughout its runtime. Cutscenes look great on a DS, and the way they shift from spanning to 2 screens to showing individual perspectives is very cool. My biggest issue with Metroid Prime Hunters is its incredibly repetitive gameplay loop. Go to the planet, find 3 keys to open a shield, to another 3 keys to unlock the boss portal to get the final key times 8. Do these keys at least get a unique boss fight to obtain? Nah, you will take on the same totem pole or floating ball 4 times each with slight variations. Don't forget, you will also be jumped by spazzy guardians along the way constantly. And if you leave a room and come back immediately, they will respawn! I also take issue with the lack of upgrades found throughout the game. Metroid games are about finding new equipment to progress the game, and that element is missing from Hunters. Weapons only just doesn't quite cut it, unfortunately. The lack of expansion tanks to find is also a letdown, and many times during my playthrough I wish they just started you at full power, since finding everything is pretty trivial and unrewarding. The game's multiplayer focus also feels like it came at the cost of what could have been an incredible mobile take on the Prime franchise. The single-player experience is okay, but oh, what could have been. Larger maps, more diversity in the gameplay loop, better bosses, upgrades, and proper expansions would have been so good. The amount of precision that the game expects out of a DS touchscreen or face buttons at the speed some things happen is also insane. There isn't much in terms of replayability for the single-player experience of Metroid Prime Hunters. You could try to get quicker completion times, but they don't unlock any new endings. Collecting every item and scan is also a goal you could go for to unlock some additional things for multiplayer, but again, they don't change the way the game ends. The true draw for continued time with Hunters comes from its multiplayer modes. You can play the game locally with a single cart and DS download play for a more stripped down experience. If you have multiple carts, the full experience becomes available. The game can also still be played online with others through private servers if desired. Or if you would like to take on bots, that too is an option with different difficulty levels to choose from. Metroid Prime Hunters saw a re-release on the Wii U Virtual Console in 2016. The game loses out on its multi-system and online multiplayer capabilities, but the full single-player experience is present with bot matches. Metroid Prime Hunters is a technical masterpiece for the DS and shows that a Metroid Prime game could be done on the system with reasonable success. Unfortunately, the experience is more multiplayer focused, and the single player suffers as a result. While it may be a smaller, stripped down, and repetitive journey, it has some merits that keep it from being a complete waste of time to play. Thank you for making it to the end of today's review on Metroid Prime Hunters. Just a much better experience than when I first played it back on release, but still not the greatest of Metroid games, but at least I had more fun with this one than Metroid Prime 2, so I will give it that. I mean, very multiplayer focused game, from what everyone tells me that's played this and was really fond of it, but I just wish it didn't come at the expense of a more fleshed out single player experience, because this would have been such a cool game if it had been just a traditional Metroid experience like that, but oh well, is what it is. But again, thank you for making it to the end of today's review. I hope you have enjoyed it and have been enjoying this Metroid journey that I have been on. Been really loving that. We're almost done with the whole franchise at this point, and man, can't wait till Metroid Prime 4. Let's date this video. Anyway, just the usual favors here at the end. If you haven't already, thumbs up, thumbs down, depending on how much you like it, as well as hitting that sub button and notification bell so you can see when new videos go live on the channel. More always coming your way, and I appreciate you being along for the ride. Now, if you'd like to further help support the channel and help keep this content flowing, please consider hitting that join button here on YouTube or the Patreon link in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. Just $1 a month, and you really make a big difference to our channel. Big thank you to everyone who has already hit those buttons, means the world to me, and again, just thank you so much for all of your support. But until next time, my wonderful internet peeps, y'all stay awesome, keep on gaming, and we'll see you all back next video.